Welcome to Stuck, Time to Improv. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want startup businesses to be wildly successful. Today, we're very happy to have Joel Solomon from Solomore Management, and we're going to be talking about one of the very important things that startup businesses need to have, and that's a plan. So, welcome, Joel.
Thanks, Mary. So grateful to be here. It really is an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So let's talk about a business plan. And are there some important elements to it?
No, absolutely. And what I found actually is a lot of startup businesses just have a great vision for their business, but don't even have a plan. They say, okay, I have a dream and I'm going to create my dream. And I had the same issue too when I was starting my hedge fund, and also when I was starting my prosperity coaching business 6 years ago. I had a plan to help a lot of people. My prosperity coaching business, help at least 100,000 people become financially free. My hedge fund, to help everybody who invested with me to make a ton of money. But what about the business? What about the plan? And how much money can the business itself make? And so it's really important to put the numbers to the vision, to the dream, because if you don't put the numbers to the vision, then you may not know if your business can generate $1,000 a month or $100,000 a month. And so it's really important to have that plan. But let's talk about 3 really specific pieces of a business plan. Right. And I think these parts of a business plan actually are not very common. At least when I've been looking at other people's businesses, they don't do this. And the first thing is looking at various scenarios. So what will happen is people come to me and say, here's the business I'm going to generate, and here's the amount of revenues, and here's the amount of expenses, and here's the amount of money I'm going to make. And I say, well, what if something changes? What if, it takes longer to go to market? What if you have more advertising and marketing expenses than you expected? What if things change, the world's change, we go into a recession? What if the economy booms? So looking at different scenarios is really important, not just looking at one point estimate and saying, okay, based on these numbers, I'm going to make $10,000 a month.
Sure. Well, and the numbers have to come from somewhere. You can't just pull them out of your head. You need to have done some research and really know your market, right?
Absolutely. You need to know your market. You need to know your competitors. You need to know the possibilities of what you can, all the different types of products you might be selling in the future. When I started my prosperity coaching business, I was doing one-on-one coaching, and that was it. But I knew over time I wanted to add group courses. I knew I wanted to add a membership. And so over the years, over a 3 to 5 year business plan, I put in the membership, I put in the group courses, and then I also put in the expenses associated with those new products and those new services.
Very cool. So contingency plans, check that.
So what I say is look at a bull case, look at a base case, and look at a bear case. Now, these are stock market terms, but I think people know what I mean. Look at an upside, really good. Look at a base case and look at a downside. And then you can plan even better for the future. So the second part of a business plan, and it may be obvious to some accountants, but not obvious to others, is cash is king. Understand that no matter what the accounting numbers are, at the end of the day, cash flow is important. What is your net cash flow each month, each quarter, each year? Because that's what you're going to be using to pay the bills. That's what you're going to be using to pay the expenses. That's what you're going to be doing to contribute to charitable organizations. So cash is most important. It's not looking at the accounting measures, the generally accepted accounting principles. It's money in, money out, and that's what's most important.
So actually look at cash flow and probably from the same three different perspectives, right?
Absolutely. Look at cash from upside, base case, and downside. Yeah.
Okay. And the third very important part of a business plan?
So the third part is looking at the unexpected or miscellaneous expenses. And what I would recommend is actually putting that into your business plan. Put about 5% of your total expenses. So say your expenses are $10,000 a month. I would add an extra $500 a month for unexpected miscellaneous items that you can't predict. And put that into the business plan to see if you're still generating profits each month with that extra 5%. 5 to 10% was what I would recommend. What I've seen in my business, what I've seen in other businesses, is you just can't plan for everything. And there might be something unexpected that comes up, some unexpected advertising, some unexpected travel that you have to take, whatever it is that you don't plan for. So I put it in a miscellaneous bucket. And then the other thing I'd recommend, and I've done it in my business plan, is rule number 6 in my second book, The 9 Money Rules, is giving. And so I would actually put in an amount in your expenses for charitable contributions. And that's another great. 5 to 10%.
Right. I mean, I know that as a homeowner, I always plan on $6,000 a year for the project, which I may not know what it is, but generally speaking, something always happens. And sometimes it's not a bad thing. Sometimes it's you get this opportunity to go participate in a conference, which is going to open your market hugely. Right. And it's got an expense attached to it that wasn't in this year's budget. So if you've got the extra money planned for, you're good to go, right?
Right. And if you don't, and I recommend both for businesses and for individuals to have at least 3 to 6 months of emergency expenses in a separate account. So you should have at least 3 months, and if you're aggressive, 6 months if you're conservative, for unexpected items. So plan for the unexpected. I think that's important to do.
Right. Even if you're bootstrapping, at least think about this. Well, thank you so much, Joel Solomon. And we really appreciate your time and your expertise about business plans. We'll put information in the comments so people can contact you later or find out more about your book or all of those good things. So this is Mary Scott with Business Riff. And again, I want startups to be wildly successful. So join us again for Stuck, Time to Improv.